Hi again. I wanted to add this extra video in to talk a little bit about strumming before you really dive into the songs of this course. You'll notice in the videos that I play later on that I'm going to be playing along with a strum pattern, and I'll show you what that pattern is. But first, I also want to give you permission, especially if you are new to this instrument, if you are new to these chords, still kind of just feeling your way around this instrument. I want to give you permission to not worry about strumming at all in this course. I've set up the songbook so that you can look for those letters above the lyrics that indicates what chord you're going to play, and all you have to do is when you get to that lyric, play the chord once and wait for the next one to come. Okay, so I just want to put that out there in front. You do not have to worry about the strum pattern that I am playing. Just single strums right along in a steady beat will be just fine, and it'll help you, I think, organize those groups of four and those patterns that we're going to be talking about throughout the course as well. However, when you are strumming, even just those single strums, I want to give you a couple tips to keep in mind. First of all, you can strum with your thumb. I kind of recommend, especially as beginners, to try strumming with your thumb from here, the string closest to you, straight down to the floor. One kind of swell movement in through there, right? And notice when I do, I'm strumming not over the sound hole, as I might if I were playing a guitar, but I'm actually strumming about where the body of the instrument meets the neck, or around the 12th fret of the fretboard. And that actually is the middle point of our strings, right? If you think about, here's one end, here's the other, the middle point is right here around the 12th fret, and it's where we're going to get the nicest sound echoed out of the sound hole. So you don't have to strum over the sound hole. Strumming up here where this body meets the neck will be just fine. Now, if the thumb feels awkward at all, you might also try your index finger. I kind of curl it around and play with my nail, not my cuticle, right? Not the side. You don't want to go totally perpendicular. I kind of push down, curl that finger underneath, and come down with the nail here. You can experiment with what feels good for you. As I said, I recommend the thumb. It's nice and soft. It's got a nice tone to it, but everybody feels a little different. Thumb, index, and if none of those feel good for you, you can also just relax all of your hands into kind of a loosey-goosey, we're going to talk about that next, loosey-goosey set of fingers, and they can also just kind of go down the strings as well. Most important is actually that you're not thinking too much about your fingers at all when you strum. The last thing I want you to keep in mind is that you're going to move from your elbow and lead with your wrist. So your fingers actually don't have a whole lot to do with it other than just being what hit the strings on your way across. So you're going to move from your elbow here, lead with your wrist. Your wrist is sort of the conductor that's going to help you give that nice strong strum through. Of course, I'm exaggerating here because I want to illustrate that for you. Ideally, what you're going to be doing is strumming from here, the top of the body, to the bottom of the body here. That's about the range. Just like that. So whether you're strumming along with me or sticking to those single strums, just a couple tips for your right hand and your right arm to consider. Now, let's talk about that strum pattern. When I play these songs, what I'm going to be doing is the following. I'm going to have a down strum, followed by down, up, down, up, down, up. So kind of 4 beats all together to think about. 1, 2, up, 3, up, 4, up, 1, 2, up, 3, up, 4, up, 1, 2, up, 3, up, 4, up. Now you may notice when I go up, I'm using the same finger that I used to go down, and I would recommend that. So if you're using your index finger, I would go up and down with your index. If you're using your sort of gaggle of fingers here, kind of just hitting those fingers on the way up. Notice that the up strum doesn't sound as loud as the down strum, and that is okay. That is absolutely appropriate even, because the up strums aren't there really to sound out the chord. They're there for what I like to call rhythmic texture in the song. They're there to make sure that you've got a nice beat going, but it doesn't have to have every note of every chord in it. So you'll want to practice getting used to that. And again, moving from your elbow, leading with your wrist. Ideally, what I'm doing is I'm like just pretending I'm shaking somebody's hand here, nice and buoyant and light. 1, 2, up, 3, up, 4, up. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So see how that feels for you? Again, if If it feels overwhelming, especially once you add those chords in, just leave it to the side. You can always come on back and try it with me later. I have one last note to make about kind of lining up the rhythm of this drum pattern with the chords in your songbook. As I mentioned, the chords are there for single strums. For example, if I've got four C chords there, 1, 2, 3, 4, that one group of 4, I'm actually going to have 2 groups of 4 of that strumming pattern smushed into that same amount of time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's simply because I'm adding in more of what we call microbeats, more sort of beats within the beats, and so it makes sense to kind of keep that pulse a little faster. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4 in your songbook is the same as what I'll be playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 when I strum it through on the songs. All right? I think those are all my strumming tips for you. If you're finding anything missing, of course, always let me know. But I will let you dive into these songs and enjoy. Have fun.